where we are going to have a look at property zoning this morning. We have already spoken, and for those of you at home that have not yet studied chapter 1 of property valuation land use, then you must go and read that chapter. We've spoken about zoning, and are you communications? No, lecture theatre. Okay. In any case, we're talking property zoning. People, it's the bundle of rights attached by the city or the municipality to a property. And look on page 15. I've given you a little table so that you can see with each and every specific type of zoning, say business 1, there is specific restrictions attached to it. Coverage 100%. Floor factor 1.5 and so forth. And both, based on those restrictions, we can determine the size of building, the number of parking bays that the city requires, and based on that, we can then determine the market value of, say, a piece of land, based on the residual method. So I want you to turn to the tutorial at the end of your chapter 1, and we are going to work through just one of those sums, and you will then be able to do the rest of them. I'll also post you, say, for a next revision test, some new sums. You must be able, people, to do all these calculations. They will follow you literally to the end of the year. So please do not think, now that I've done the first formal class test, I can now forget about chapter 1. Zoning will always be part and parcel of your valuation of a property. Okay, so let's have a look at the first sum in your tutorial on page 16. And we are looking at an earth in the CBD, the Central Business District of Cape Town, with an extent or a size of 4,200 square meters, which is zoned for business 1. It allows shops and offices as primary rights, as opposed to consent, which is only temporarily. Okay. Zoning restrictions. People, you cannot value a building without getting the restrictions from the municipality as well. Okay, so your height zone is 2 stories. So you can only do double story. Remember that with regards to zoning, you can always go smaller or less, but you cannot go bigger. So you cannot put up a 4-story building if the zoning says 2 stories. Coverage 50%. You cannot cover, the footprint of the building cannot be 75%. It can only be 50% or smaller that the city will be happy with. FAR, floor area ratio, or in your notes the city calls it floor factor. People, that is literally the ratio, floor area ratio, the size of the building divided by the size of the land gives you your floor area ratio. So if you do a little bit of algebra and move it around, you can say land area times floor area factor of 1.2 gives you the bulk, the size of the building. Okay. But we are now not going towards that, that's just background. Parking requirements is 6 parking bays per 100 square meters for shops area and 4 parking bays per 100 square meter of office area. People, as I said, this is the kind of information that you must remember. You must remember it. As I said, I'm giving you practical knowledge, so this you can apply on next Monday again at work. This is what is applicable from a zoning perspective. Okay, people, now our first question is, use whatever is necessary, and can the developer use the full coverage? In other words, can he use 50%? Can he cover this earth with 50% of buildings for shops on ground level only? If surface parking is provided around the building on the total balance of the earth, and show or motivate your answer with calculations. Okay, so let's do it step by step. I am asking you, in this instance, can the developer use the 50% coverage as per the zoning restriction from the municipality? 50%. And we are bringing in another restriction, which is the parking. We are saying, can he do 50%? If this is the land, this is the building, can he cover 50% of this earth with building and still have enough land left over so that he can fit in his 6 bays per 100 square meter parking? That is what we are going to calculate. So see for me if you can calculate what is the size of the shop. If I do the calculations, will you zoom in for me, for the students at home? 4,200 square meters is the size of the earth times 50%, is coverage. So that means the footprint of my shop can be 2,100 square meter. Not so? Okay. So we have now calculated that the maximum size of the shop, remember our question says on ground level only, can be 2,100 people. So that means there's 2,100 square meters left over for parking, not so? No, it's most half. Half is building, the other half we can use for parking. Okay, but now we must test and see, can we fit in parking on this space that is remaining? People, for purposes of this course, and you can use it in the industry as well, you can use 30 square meters for the size of a parking bay. Yeah, that is parking bay plus your circulation area. Yeah, 30 square meters. Okay. So now we are saying for 2,100 square meters of parking, we need we always divide it by 100, because our question says 6 bays per 100 square meters. So we are sort of working in this 100 square meter pockets. 2,100. Damn it. Okay, divided by 100. Sorry, I just have a problem here with my calculator. Times 6, because we need 6 bays per 100 for shops. We are now looking only at shops. Times 6 bays. People, I always suggest that when you do these calculations at the beginning, that you write down what you are doing, what you are dividing by, and so forth, because by the time you get to your answer, you don't know what you've calculated. You are lost. Times 6 bays times 30 square meters per one size bay. And that gives us 3,780 square meters needed just for parking. So can you see our answer will be no. We cannot do this development and use the maximum coverage. Because we need 2,100 square meters for the building, plus 3,780 square meters for parking, and that gives us a total earth extent of 5,880 square meters, which we don't have. We only have 4,200. No. So can you see, for the land is too small for a shop, which is half the size of that building. Okay. Does it make sense? Remember, we are now a developer. We are looking at vacant land, and we have a certain idea what we want to do here. We want to develop a shop, and we want to take up the maximum coverage size for the shop. We want to build the biggest shop that we can. But